Welcome back, everybody, and if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for showing up. In all honesty, the year of 2017 has had a pretty phenomenal string of movies to come out, but no other film has made me question, ponder, or think as much as Denis Villeneuve's masterpiece, Blade Runner 2049. In all honesty, I can make a string of videos analyzing each and every single aspect inside of Blade Runner 2049, but I want to focus on one thing in particular, and that's how Ryan Gosling's character, Agent K, not only represents humanity, but also represents a cycle of life from childhood into adulthood. And it's at this point, for those of you who haven't seen Blade Runner 2049 and want to avoid all spoilers if at all possible, I highly suggest that you turn the video off now. For everybody else, let's get started. Now, to really understand how Ryan Gosling's Agent K represents a cycle in humanity, we need to break it up into three stages. Stage number one, childhood. Now, right from the very beginning of this film, we see two elements that really envelop childhood, and that's the willingness to follow what other people say, specifically adults, and the childlike curiosity that we all have. If we look at the various missions that Agent K goes on, be it hunting down other replicants or just doing research, he does it without question. He does it to please the mother figure in his life, Lieutenant Joshi, played by Robin Wright. And in all honesty, when it comes to our childhood, how many times have we done stuff for our parents, either without question or when they tell us to, on the fact that we just want to make them happy, that we just want to do what they say? Next up, like I said before, childlike curiosity. Certain things start to unfold, like the chest being hidden underneath the ground, underneath that big white tree. Or when Agent K starts to discover stuff about Deckard, he becomes so consumed with curiosity that nothing stops him from going after certain answers, from seeking certain answers, and doing all that he can do to find out what he needs to know. And that, once again, is a trait that children often do. Once they're curious about something, they do anything, if they're interested in that subject, to find answers, to try to understand that subject, to try to see where it's going to lead them down the road. And of course, we know with childhood, at the very beginning stages, it's also the very beginning of a child's conflict, or the beginning of a child's conflicting emotions and discovering their own emotion. We can see the beginning of this conflict when it comes to Agent K when he's introduced to love. And she can also be a representation of his emotion, because when she is introduced into the film, we know that there's something not quite so sincere about her, not quite so honest on the surface. And whenever certain situations, certain problems, certain matters happen in this film, she always seems to be in the way, even from the very beginning. And when we're children, doesn't it always feel like the world is coming against us? Even though we know we have our lives ahead of us, there are so many problems that come in our way that we really start to freak out about. And as soon as Agent K discovers that he might be the child of Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, these emotions start taking control of him. And now we're on stage 2, which is young adulthood. And it's at this point in our lives where we start to formulate our own beliefs. We start thinking something, and we are so stubborn in where our feet are planted on the ground. Even if the world is coming against us and telling us its faults, we will seek out and look for our own truth. And when Anna and Agent K are looking inside the memories that Agent K has, I believe it is at this point that Agent K realizes he is not the son of Deckard, but he is so firm and so planted in that belief that he is, that it doesn't persuade him, even if it does make him infuriated enough to kick a chair across the room. And then Agent K goes off to meet with Deckard, and it is at this point that Robin Wright's character is killed by love. And this is a critical moment, especially when it comes to young adulthood, because we know that our parents and the adult figures in our lives are never going to be there for us forever. And her passing in this film is a significant point to show that eventually the people we love, the people around us, are going to pass away. And now, besides the obvious meaning of what Agent K's meeting with Deckard actually means and how significant it is to the story, when it comes to young adulthood, Agent K's meeting with Deckard and their conversation I find to be a very intriguing look of what would happen or what happens when you have a conversation with yourself. There are so many things going on in your head. Once you finally find out a certain truth for yourself, you start to conflict, you start to battle yourself, and then eventually you calm down, not exactly on equal ground, but enough to where it's calm and peaceful for the moment. Until you discover that a certain truth for yourself is false, and you go about your life knowing and hating the fact that things are different now, but you know there is something bigger. There is something more important for you to do with your life. And that moves us on to stage 3, into adulthood, into eventually old age and death. This might very well be my favorite segment in the film. And it all begins when love takes Deckard away and Agent K meets with the revolutionaries. It is at this point that Agent K realizes no matter how much he wants to believe that he is the son of Deckard, but he still needs to find the strength to carry on and live his life with that fact in mind, even if the smallest bit of him still believes he may be the son of Deckard. He knows it's not the truth anymore. And the battle that continues afterward between Love and Agent K is extremely significant, like everything else is in this film. There are so many things that come at us at life, be it feeling depressed, feeling insignificant, wanting to be better but never feeling like you're ever going to progress. And there comes a time where we need to decide whether we're going to let those facts come at us, defeat us, and kill us in some sense, or head at them straight on, go against our demons, and eventually take them out. And as we see from the battle between Love and Agent K is going against his demons, and in this metaphorical adult and old age stage is defeating them. He kills Love, he kills his demons, and now he can settle. And finally, when Agent K brings Deckard to go see his daughter, Deckard heads inside to meet Anna, and Agent K settles, realizes what's gone on in his life, reflects on everything that's gone on in his life, and peacefully lays down on the steps in the snow and slowly passes away. All his conflicts, all of his regrets, all of his reflections, they're all done now. And all he needs is sweet, peaceful sleep. And guys, that's about it. Those are my thoughts on Agent K and why I think he's more significant than what he appears on the surface. But of course, although I love doing this analysis for you guys, I want to hear your thoughts. What are your impressions of Blade Runner 2049? What are your impressions of Agent K? And what did you think of this analysis video? Whatever kind of feedback or thoughts you may have, leave them right down in the comments section so we can get a conversation started. Because Blade Runner 2049, this is a film that needs to be talked about. And once again, if you're new here, thank you so much for showing up, and don't be afraid to press the subscribe button to show some support. And everybody, I just gotta say thank you one more time for showing up, for giving your support. It means a heck of a lot. And if you like what you've heard here, and you want to hear more, or even see more, click right there and subscribe to become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.